Not recording.
Yeah.
You are a professional podcaster.
Welcome to another edition of the Gentleman Fantasy Podcast. I'm Kyle, your host, and with me, speaking of professional podcasters, Robert Rushlow. Robert, now, can I ask you something? Do we not record this podcast at 9 p.m. every Wednesday night?
Usually.
Okay.
Yes.
So how are you not assuring that iPad is charged?
Well, I explicitly told my children they are grounded from this tablet because many times before they failed to, one, put it back where they found it, and two, put it back charged. And lo and behold, I came to look for the tablet and it was gone and it was dead in my daughter's room. So it took me a few extra to get that thing and plugged in and get us going.
Well,
that's on me.
Our special guest was here, and he was here on time, and he only shows up once a year, and he was able to make it on time.
And it's past his bedtime. I feel exceptionally bad because Rick already is up past his bedtime. He would have easily been done by now, and now it's 9:30, and we're just getting started. So that's on me. I apologize.
So now, because of that, I wasn't able to watch games on Sunday. Rob wasn't able to watch games. The Brewers are in the playoffs.
Wait, because of my tablet being dead, you weren't able to watch games on Sunday?
No. I'm just saying, I didn't have a chance to watch the games on Sunday. Rob didn't get a chance to watch the games on Sunday. The Brewers are in the playoffs. Rick's got soccer. Let's just get into our special guest interview. We're going to make this one a quick one. I think we'll be out in 10 minutes. How does that sound? Anyways,
I mean, that's all it takes to talk about Rick's terrible team.
Well,
oh, man.
Since we blew the cover, joining us this week, our special guest, the fifth loser in the Gentleman League of Ordinary Gentlemen Guillotine League.
44 degrees, latitude, 088 degrees, northern Wisco. Let's do this thing.
With us is Rick Seidel. Rick, you are the fifth biggest loser in the Guillotine League. Your team never really got off the ground. What happened, Rick?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm actually just shocked that I'm here this late this year. But yeah, I just didn't really get a chance to improve on the margins and didn't get a chance to improve during the weekly drops, and here I am. So
yeah, I have to say,
I put in some good bids. I mean, when the big guys left each week, I put in $40+ for Rob, the big running back from Baltimore,
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry, Gibbs. I put in on him. I put in, for Indy's running back, but just couldn't improve my team, and then couldn't win on the margins. Uncle Rico, it was sitting out there for everybody to pick up all year long, and I needed a running back, and I stared at that guy every single day, and still never pulled the trigger on him. And then that was the one pickup that I needed to make, and I didn't do it. So
yeah, I don't even really want to talk about Rico Dowdle. I drafted him in our normal league, and I sat on him for 3 weeks when he didn't get a single touch. I dropped him, and all it took was one extra week, Chuba Hubbard getting hurt. And then when Chuba Hubbard got hurt, I was like, listen, what's the chances? And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll let someone else have him. Guess what? 200 yards later, Rico Dowdle's, a Hall of Famer. But yeah. What can you do?
And I picked up Bryce Young, because I had Caleb Williams, and he was on the early bye this year. So when your second round pick is on a bye and you don't make any other moves to make a difference, and now you're picking up Bryce Young, because he actually looked halfway decent. He had a good matchup against Miami. But when your quarterback scores 11 points in this league, that's a pretty shitty week for quarterback. So
and I gotta say,
help.
Bryce Young, ever since he got benched and came back, he's been kind of trick or treat. There's weeks where you're looking at him and you're like, wow, okay, this is a legitimate starting quarterback. He's a good player. And then the next week he just shits the bed in what should be an opportune matchup.
Yeah. So that definitely did not help. But no, but I mean, this is a week when you score 80 points, nothing is really going your way. So I didn't have anybody really doing anything. Josh Allen is the number one point scorer in the league, and he's still only at 20 some points. So I needed a big week out of him, and didn't get it either. So that happens.
Yeah, the Guillotine League this year, like it with the scoring, if you're going to score under 100, you're basically on the chopping block. But it's been tough. Everyone's.
Yeah.
It just seems like there's so many points being divvied out in every direction. Offense has just been off the charts this year.
Yeah. And Rick, I gotta say, going into, looking at, once you realize in the Guillotine League that you're not going to be on the verge of being out, you start, charting like, okay, who might be out? Who could be available? And I was like, hey, Rick's low. Rick typically has a good team. I punched in your team and I was like, all right, Josh Allen. And there's no one else there. It was a rough looking roster. So sometimes you get really excited. Like I was pretty excited for, I think it was the week that the Canadians almost lost. And I was like, oh man, this guy, because I need a wide receiver and I need a running back. Mainly I need a running back. And so I'm always looking for a guy who's got like 2 or 3 running backs that you might not get the top one, but you could slide in and get the second guy. And Rick, with you, that just wasn't there.
Oh, well, I went quarterback, receiver. So running back was extremely thin when you have the first overall pick, and then I got the 32nd and 33rd overall pick. So that was not going to be my game. But next year I'll have to remember those early bye weeks. If you don't make any early moves, that'll kill you. So I had Romeo Doubs and Caleb Williams on a bye. Caleb Williams is the 8th best quarterback in the league.
Yep.
And I have him on a bye. Yep. And I have Romeo Doubs, the starting receiver, on a bye. That's 2 big hits I got to take here. And now I'm getting a Carolina Panthers to try to fill in my roster here, and I'm just I'm struggling. And then so then Tyrone Tracy got hurt, Najee Harris got hurt, and I already don't have any running backs. So
so you had Najee too. That was my next question, was going to be if you had guys who got injured, because it looked like you were incredibly thin in a few spots. I know everyone's thin, when you got 18 teams, but I assumed that there had to be more to the story.
Yep. So and then those early buys just kind of really took it to me. So I had to get lucky, and I needed Josh Allen to have a big week. So when he only scored 20 points there, 24 points at the end, it wasn't going to be good for me.
Yeah, I wish I paid more attention to the bye week thing last year, because we talked about it in pretty great detail, and somehow I blacked out and completely didn't look at bye week stuff, and now I'm up against the ropes, and if I make it that far to week 8, and I'm looking at my team, I'm like, oh shit, I'm losing the meat of my roster in week 8.
I'm going to make the same exact point. That was actually like when it got to me drafting, if I had like my tiebreaker, if I had like 2 guys that I wasn't sure on when I was drafting, my tiebreaker was automatically whoever had the later buy, with the idea that by the time you get to those buys, hopefully you picked up a few people that whoever that person is might not be that big a factor anymore. And I have the same Achilles heel you have, Rob, where I think half of my important players have buys in either week 8 or 9. So I got to make moves in the next 3 weeks. If I don't, I'm kind of screwed.
I've been trying to make a bunch of little moves, like the $1-2 players. Like, for example, from Rick's team, I got Romeo Doubs for $2. Small move, great receiver, but his buy is done. So, like, that's one person I know has the potential to catch a couple of touchdowns, to be the number 1 receiver on a great passing team. Like, it's all these little things. Am I going to make another giant move like Derrick Henry? Probably not. But at least that's one way I could kind of like chip away at shoring that up, knowing that guillotine, quote unquote, is coming in week 8, where I need to have people I can put in there.
See, and that's the thing that I think it was Krull went out and got Haskins, the backup running back for the Chargers. And if he is the starting running back for the next 3-4 weeks, great. but he spent $11 on a guy that maybe a 3-week usable player if everybody comes back healthy. And to me, if you're looking for that kind of fill in, like, you should be on the fringes with the $2 and $3 pickups. Not spending $11, $12 on some of these guys. So I kind of look at it as I'm willing to go high on the top tier guys, and that middle tier guys like Nico Collins went for $18. That offense with the Texans has not been good this year. And if Nico Collins is going to be like 70% of what Nico Collins normally is, to me, that's like a $10 guy. That's not a $20 guy. It's a $10 guy. Because later on in the season, if I'm still around in 5 weeks, I'm going to be making moves. I'm going to be hoping that I can make moves to get more impactful players than Nico Collins at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Plus, we all know about the curse of Nico Collins. No one's trying to touch him with a 12-foot pole.
I think that was the other guy. Was that Nico Collins?
No, yeah, I think it was Nico Collins last
Oh,
year.
Yeah. You don't want him. Rick, why'd you draft him?
Dell, but I didn't.
Well, I know Rick drafted him, though.
Well, he looks good on paper.
He wasn't the problem, but yeah, I mean that all sounds smart when you're not out. But I would have gladly paid $12 for Uncle Rico this week to put 35 points on my stat line. And like I said, I mean, I'm putting $40 bids out there for all the $42 bids out there. I just got outbid by a couple of bucks, and now I'm sitting here trying to figure out how am I going to make this roster work. Right. And it gets frustrating because I had some good matchups. Like I have 2 Texans on my team. I got the running back Woody Marks, and I got Nico Collins, and they score 45 points or whatever it was, and my guys didn't do anything. I mean, for some reason, Woody Marks had 2 touchdowns last week and 7 receptions and 17 carries. And this week they decide he doesn't need the ball.
Yeah, and this week they pounded the ball with Nick Chubb. I was confused about that. I had him in a League of Ordinary Gentlemen, and I'm going, well, where the fuck did this Nick Chubb resurgence come from? And I thought he got benched last week.
Yeah. So I'm sitting on the soccer fields, and I'm just watching ESPN, and I'm going, okay, well, I might be okay. The Texans have 47 points, and I get home and I look, and I see, I have 11 points on the board here with 2 players, because Xavier McFuddledut has 2 touchdowns and 78 yards, and I would have gladly paid $22 for that fucking schmuck this week. So,
yeah, I mean, to everybody's point, it's funny. Kyle mentioned waiting for Matt Olson to lose. And speaking of Nick Chubb and Rico Dowdle and running backs in general. I think everybody in the league is licking their chops waiting for the Molson Canadians to get knocked out, because he has all the running backs. He has Bijan Robinson. He has James Cook. He has Rico Dowdle. Yep. He has Nick Chubb. He has his whole team is literally running backs. If you want to talk about the 1 week the most fab is going to get spent, it's the day Matt Olson gets knocked out and all those running backs hit the fucking waivers. It's going to be a bloodbath. There's going to be some serious fab dropped. He has nothing else but running backs.
And I'm just hoping to hang on long enough to get to the point where I can get those guys for a bargain price compared to, these weeks of these top tier players going for $40 is going to be ending here pretty quickly. Because over I want to say, I forgot to do the math on it, but I want to say 70% of the people, I think there's only 4 people that have more than $50 left right now.
Sure, but you're going to have to pay that number for each of them. So you're either going to blow everything on those 2, or you're going to get one of the 2. You're not going to get them each for $25 a piece.
No. I'm not. No. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is the top tier guys, as we go and the money dwindles, that top line price is gonna every week get less and less. Where you had to spend, this week Josh Allen went for $50. In 3 weeks, if Josh Allen were to come available again, he's gonna go for $30.
Sure, I got you.
So I'm at this point. I'm biting my time, crossing my fingers and praying that I can hang on long enough to where I get the right guy losing and I can dump my money on the right guys. Because I wasn't going to spend $15, $20 on these mid-tier running backs knowing that somebody later on in line is going to get a top-tier running back for $25 or $30. And I don't want to be spending $15 for a middling guy right now to just try to get to the next week. You know what I'm saying?
I get it. Well, in the podcast, when the Lions have a shitty week and fucking Jared Goff and Jahmyr Gibbs don't carry your entire team, we can have this exact same
Absolutely.
conversation next week. Like, I got knocked out. I thought I was good. Tried to save my money. And I'll be like, yep, $89 off the board. And that's what you get for trying to wait that long to not make moves because you thought your 2 Lions players were your whole team.
I got Sam Darnold. Darnold. Dude, Rick was trusting a Chicago Bear too, and Caleb was working out for him.
And he's being interviewed as we speak.
Because he was on a bye. Yeah, I didn't plan for the bye.
But speaking of Los spent $22 on Caleb Williams. When Los spends money on a Bear, you know that Los is locked in.
Well, I mean, he's got it. He always said, I will always have at least one Bear on my team, just to keep it honest.
Well, all right. Yeah, so that's where we sit. A lot of money was spent this week. Allen went for $50. Caleb Williams went for 22. Nico went for 18. Haskins went for 11. He was out there. The guy I was targeting was Rashee Rice. I was really hoping the fact that he, like when you go into the player lists, since he hasn't played this year, he's not ranked. He's he wasn't ranked on projected scoring, all that kind of stuff. I was really hoping he would fall through the cracks. I had a $2 bid on him. He went for $3. That's who I was looking at. I also had a $2 bid on Dobbs, and you were before me in line. So congratulations to you.
Well, we bid on the same 2 receivers. Like I had Dobbs, and then the Buccaneers receiver.
Godwin.
That was hurt.
Godwin.
Yeah, Chris Godwin. And I really wanted to sneak Dobbs out of there because, like you said, I can't afford to make another major purchase because I spent a lot of money on Henry, and you do have to play the game a little bit. I was actually super excited to steal Dobbs off of Rick's drops there and shore up that second receiver spot because the Jacoby Myers thing just was not working. And Romeo Dobbs just getting the amount of not just overall targets, but red zone targets is just amazing for a league like this where he's going to catch 2 touchdowns a fucking game. Like, I don't even care if he only has 10 yards receiving.
I've been told it's the size of his helmet.
Touchdowns,
I've been told it's the size of his helmet that makes the difference.
Makes him a huge target.
It's just like a yellow beacon every week for Jordan Love.
It helps that he doesn't drop passes. Like, he makes catches. I love that about him.
Yeah, and just to think, we kind of thought he was the odd man out this year. With the things that happened last year during the season, it kind of looked like maybe they were going to move on from Dobbs, but he's still around. This just in, Christian Watson is on pace to be making a comeback in the next 2 weeks.
That would be great. I would love to see another weapon on the field. Like Golden's looking good. Dobbs is your possession guy, but it is nice to have a deep threat, a little more threatening than Dontavian Wicks, who is a little trick or treat with when he wants to be good and when he doesn't. So I'm all for it.
Now, Rick, you're out next year. When you're going into this league, what are you thinking you would really pinpoint to do differently?
I'm going to pay attention to the buys a little bit, making sure that I try not to get players with those early buys. And then my big mistake was that in that come around pick there. So I was fine with Caleb Williams and Josh Allen. I don't think there was anything wrong with those 2 picks. That getting 2 top 10 quarterbacks in this quarterback friendly format was fine. But then I needed to get a running back locked in. I don't know who is exactly around there, but there were some running backs around versus taking Nico Collins and trying to fill in my roster with receivers after the fact. Because then when that 33rd pick left me and I still didn't have a running back, and now I'm coming back with the the 64th
60 something,
and 5th pick. It is It was really rough there, and I knew it wasn't going to be the same season for me as it was the year prior. But I don't know, maybe because I just had a better team last year. I had the second overall pick, but I just had a better team last year. I really wasn't worried. But man, the scoring early was out of control in this league, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where like the low scores were still in the hundreds or the 90s. Like I just felt like last year there were still teams getting picked off in the 70s and 80s,
Right.
even early on.
And
Absolutely.
Maybe that was just Kyle, because he just raped his kids and his wife's teams, and they were all just left to the wayside right off the bat.
I'm gonna have to bleep that out.
And we just didn't have that this year. But yeah,
What happened there? I made one trade and it was with Robert. I mean, come on, what?
There was some chicanery. We've all seen it. It is well documented. We're not going to rehash all that.
yeah.
But to his point, and that's what I said earlier, it just seems like overall offense has just really gone up a level this year. Like if you don't score 100 points in this league, you're essentially gone. Like everyone else in the league scored over 100 points last week.
Yeah.
Period.
And
There's no
overall,
one else under.
overall,
What did Amy? What did it was it Amy that dropped last week? I think didn't they almost score like 100 points and they were already gone?
So she was at 104.6, and then Hegner was 104.7, and Rathgaber was 104.9. Yeah, so I mean it was three teams in the 105 range.
100.
Yeah, I mean that's early for those type of scores in this league to be getting tossed, but
Right. And Steve was at 158, Matt Olson 180, Romlo 163. Like this is high end scoring across the board.
In NFL overall, I saw some stats. NFL scoring overall and yardage has been up this year too. That's the main reason why the scoring is up. And
well, they're not my team.
But seriously, it's true. Offense across the board in the NFL has just been out of control. Look at Packers Dallas. It was fucking 40-40. Like these are everyone's scoring out of control amounts of points. Like there was, if you look at the NFL scores, like there was four or five teams that scored in the 40-point range.
Yeah.
When we were watching football when we were younger, if a team scored 40, it was a fucking blowout. It wasn't a tie. Like there's just so much offense now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, I watched a Browns-Bengals game that was 3-2.
Right.
I mean, it was a monsoon, but it was 3-2.
Yeah, it was more likely to see that than to see a 40-40 tie.
Yeah, so I mean, that's kind of where we stand here. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot more. Let's go off topic here. Let's quick hit on the League of Ordinary Gentlemen. There's three divisions. Two of the three divisions literally have everyone in their division at 3-2 or 2-3. And then you have my beautiful division. I finally got a win. I'm 1-4. And
Proud of you.
I ended up having the third highest score on the week. So again, the teams that I'm playing against is still pretty wild. But I'm 1-4, and it just so happens being 1-4, I'm in the division that has 2 4-1 and a 3-2 teams. So I'm pretty much drawn dead now. I'm playing for fun, but personally speaking, I think I have an okay team. Like I'm confused. Like there is nothing on waivers that can help me. I have a good enough team. It's just that I'm 0-4 in my division. I'm drawing so dead. I don't even think I can come back.
It's a tough spot. Honestly, you get off to a start that prolifically bad, and it's tough. I lost my parlay last week. I said I was taking me, and I was taking you, and what was it? I was taking Zach to lose, which I hit 2 of the 3. I actually hit you winning. I hit Zach losing. But as far as me winning goes, I couldn't have been further from wrong because not only did Wes beat me, he doubled my score. I had 76. He had 162. So I got absolutely destroyed. So yeah, good on him for winning in just ridiculous fashion. But yeah, missed on that parlay as I normally do. Not the way I thought I would, but yeah, it was it's tough.
Speaking of high scoring, Jimmy had the high score in the Guillotine League. I don't have a way to pay him out, so I think I'm just going to pocket that $10.
That's probably a solid choice. That's funny because last week, or was it the week before, when I had won the high score, I only lost to him by a decimal point or so. Yeah. So he's actually really doing well as far as guillotine scoring goes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Jimmy, if you're listening to this, get me a Venmo or something. And I mean, I think his wife has Venmo maybe. Anyways, you paid for him.
I can get it to you. I have his wife's Venmo. I can get that to you.
All right, cool. So we'll work that one out. Let's hit on some off-topic stuff here. Guys, the three of us were in Rick's backyard in 2021 in July.
One of the best nights of my life.
Watching the Milwaukee Bucks put away the Phoenix Suns in a Game 6. Unbelievable. Giannis dropping a 50-piece.
So good.
And Giannis almost got traded to the Knicks. What the fuck's going on here?
I mean, I'm satisfied. I said this multiple times on this pod, off the pod. We got a title as a small market team. I didn't expect that to last forever. I never expected it to be some dynasty. But the fact that we got a title out of him and the team we put together against most odds, considering we probably should have lost to the Nets that year, the whole KD toe on the line bullshit. But I'm okay with it. Whatever happens, I'm grateful for the years with Giannis and just being competitive and being in it as much as we were. Do I think we should have won the year that Jimmy Butler left his body and became a god of basketball in a series? Yes, that would have been nice if we still, continued that year. But I mean, it was great. We got a title. We can't be upset about that.
I mean, and honestly, in the East, we still have a chance, right? I mean, Boston, what's his name in Boston is out, and Halliburton's out in Indiana. As long as Giannis stays healthy, we still have a chance in the East this year.
Yeah, and I'll give you that. Stephen A. Went on a rampage about how the Knicks should have given up everything but Brunson for Giannis. I happen to think the Knicks have a pretty, overall, I think the Knicks have a pretty solid, good, team chemistry. I mean, I guess it would make sense to get Giannis for them, but do you pull Dame Lillard and throw everything away?
Milwaukee.
Well, right.
Why do we want their crap? We need draft picks if we're giving up Giannis.
Well, and it sure seems like that's what Horst basically told him. He told him, you guys aren't even close.
Right. Yeah, honestly, whoever, in my opinion, it doesn't matter. Whoever wins in the East is just getting in line to get murdered by the Thunder. The Thunder are they're set up for years. They would have to really fall on their face to fuck up not winning the next 2-3 years. And even if they don't in the Western Conference playoffs, it's just another team that's probably going to crush whoever comes out of the East, whether that's, Jokic coming back with a team that can do it, or whatever it may be. I don't think the East stands a chance for the foreseeable future until somebody puts some real shit together.
That Thunder team really, really kind of blew my mind last year because, they were kind of the laughing stock, just collecting pieces for years and years after KD, Harden, Westbrook, Ibaka, all those guys left. And, they finally put the pieces together. And throughout the season, they had a good record, but you kind of looked at it and you're like, these guys, are these guys the guys who are going to win a championship? When you see teams winning championships, those teams have a Steph Curry, a LeBron James, a Kawhi Leonard, a Giannis Antetokounmpo. You didn't really think of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the crew that was around him as like, these are the guys. But man, that team is just phenomenal. It's constructed absolutely perfect. They're murderous on defense, and they make the right plays on offense. I'm curious to see what ends up happening long term, because they don't have the top tier big names, like the guys that you're expecting to have those max contracts. Like, I'm curious to see how it
plus
goes.
they're built for longevity. Like they're set in the team they have for the next couple of years without any worries at all. And they have the time and the picks to just build upon that, and like you said, Shea, he was let go by other teams. He wasn't the guy. He wasn't the guy they drafted, first overall, like your top guys of the world that stay with the same team for their entire careers, like Tatum, and stuff like that. Like, he was kind of washed away and forgotten about, and then kind of recreated himself into the, some people will call the foul chasing kind of, player that gets his points at the line. But, whatever, that's how they win games, and they're fantastic on defense, like you said. And everybody on that fucking team is on basically a rookie contract, so they don't even have to feel that pressure to make moves or cut guys like their premier defenders, to make space to continue to pay their big name players. They're set, and they're all bought in is the even bigger thing. Like, they want to stay on that team, and they will make sacrifices for the sake of that, similar to your Patriots dynasties where, guys like Tom Brady were taking less money and Gronk wasn't bitching about contracts, like they were all just trying to win a whole lot. And that's kind of what you see here.
Yeah.
But Shea wasn't just a throwaway. He was the main piece when they traded for Paul George in his prime from the Clippers. I mean, he was a pivotal young piece. If the Thunder go out there and now start signing, aging mid-30s, small shooting guards who have never been to a finals and have bloated contracts and start loading down the roster like the Bucks did.
Are you saying, hold on? Are you saying that Dame Lillard would be a good candidate for that team? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. If they want to start loading down their roster with those type of players, that'd be, that might shorten up their time frame. But they're young and they're cheap, and that's when they're going to be beasts. But Shea was a top player, this whole time. That is their Giannis.
That's true. That was a poor choice of words on my part. But the fact is he was let go, though.
That point you're making, though, is literally how, like, when you have a team, especially in the NBA, when you have a team that gets to the pinnacle, the unraveling of that team is the series of moves that the Bucks made, and it happens to every one of those teams. Because to try to get over the hump, you bring in Eric Bledsoe, and he ended up not being the guy. So then you move more pieces to get Drew Holiday. Bam, Drew Holiday. He was the catalyst, put everything together. His defense really made that team run. He put them over the top. They won that championship, right? You have a couple of down years. Some guys get hurt. All of a sudden, geez, how do we keep Giannis here? And you triple down. You get rid of Holiday, and you bring in a guy like Dame Lillard, and you completely destroy the salary cap, destroy all of your picks through those three trades, got nothing left. You're a barren wasteland, and now you got Giannis Antetokounmpo on a crazy contract. You got Lillard, who they ended up having to waive, just ditch. And now you got a bunch of average Joes and Giannis, and you're in purgatory. Well, that's what happens to every one of these teams.
I maintain my stance. It should have been Lillard, or it should have been Middleton instead of Holiday. That would have been the play. You keep Holiday, you ditch Middleton, and then whatever you bring in would have been like that. At least then you're balancing the offense and the defensive part. Like, even if Dame was scoring out of his mind the whole time we had him, the lack of defense and what you swapped out there just was never gonna equal good basketball. And it didn't help that you brought in a coach who's like the ultimate hype guy, who's never been a great coach, in Doc Rivers, that it was just set up to fail from the beginning.
And same thing. That's the kind of coach that ends up coaching these kinds of teams too, because it's like, oh man, we need to have a players coach. We need to have a guy to smooth things over with Giannis. Let's fuck the X's and O's. Let's get the fucking locker room guy.
Yeah, and Dame is like the exact wrong player. You didn't know it, but almost every player you bring that plays with Giannis gets more efficient as they play with Giannis. Their shooting percentages go up. Their 3-point percentages go up. Everything goes up except for Lillard, because Lillard just chucks the ball up there. And, he needs the ball in his hands and he needs to shoot a lot. And that's how he's going to score his points, and he's going to get to the line. But that's not what we need with Giannis. We need, guys who are going to knock down just wide open 3-pointers and just going to stand there while Giannis brings the ball up, charges in there, and it's when he kicks it out, you're going to knock it down. And we're right. Lillard was 35. We're paying him $40 million a year, and he's not going to get any more efficient at what he does.
Yeah, that's a great point, because the great thing about having Giannis is he sucked everybody in to the paint, right? So when he kicks it out, there's nobody on the outside that's covered by anybody, unless you're Dame Lillard, who everyone knows is going to huck it up from 3. So then they dedicate that defense out to the perimeter. So they do half Giannis, half Dame, it's like a giant distraction on the outside. Whereas, like you said, Giannis could suck in all those defenders. Everybody was focused on him. He could kick it out to your run-of-the-mill guys that were on the outside in the perimeter, could make those shots. This is a fantasy football thing. I love that we're talking basketball.
Absolutely. One last point. That's why Middleton was so crucial to that championship team, because when Giannis was having guys sucked in on him, Middleton was there to make the outside shots, and Middleton could create when they needed some creation in between, but he wasn't overbearing in his creation. He could create, but he didn't need to all the time. But when you needed a bucket and Giannis couldn't do it, you knew Middleton was there.
Right. Well, plus we had all the glue guys, right? I've talked about that before too. Like, glue guys are so important. Your Carusos, your Holidays, your guys that are willing to do all the hard shit that's not very popular and don't show up on a stat sheet, but are absolutely essential to win a championship. And the Thunder have it. I think they have Caruso, in fact. Like those dudes that are willing to do all the extra work and fill in the gaps and make that space for those guys, set up the screens, eat up all those defensive things.
Yeah. Well, since this is a fantasy football podcast, let's talk Brewers.
Yeah, it's my fault they lost tonight. That's on me.
Rob had to leave for 1 minute to go home, and the door didn't even hit him in the ass on the way out the front door when Bowers hit that home run. That's a solo shot to cut it to 3-4. It was amazing. As soon as Rob got up, put his whiskey down, and the Brewers hit a home run.
I am a curse. I don't know what it is about me. I put the jersey on, I watch a game one time this series, and it just all goes wrong. So for the next game, I'm going to sit at home. I'm not going to put on the jersey. I will loosely monitor the score and just trust that the Brewers can wrap this thing up in 4.
Well, fortunately, guys, you don't have to worry about me cursing the Brewers, because I cannot watch any of the fucking games. I don't have cable. I don't have the Bally fucking Sports Network or whatever the fuck it is now. I don't have any of that shit. And apparently you cannot watch it on standard TV, which I'm kind of confused, because I thought, are we not considered the home market, being in the Green Bay, Appleton area? Like, we're not a home market? Milwaukee's a home market? Like, I don't understand that.
I find that exact point criminally weird, that we can't watch Bucks games, we can't watch Brewers games every time they play,
right,
like we can a Packer game. They even black out other games to make sure all you see is the Packer game. So why is it not the same for the baseball, the basketball? Like, I get that they're not the same financially driven markets as the NFL, but like, fuck, I can't see them on NBC or just some any local channel.
82 regular season basketball games, 162 regular season baseball games. Like, I get it. If it's going to be
a third of them,
but I mean, if it's going to be on a package, that's fine. But when it comes to the playoffs, why the fuck are these games When we are in the home state, aren't we considered the home market? Should we not be getting these fucking games? That's all I'm saying about that. I'm kind of pissed off. I've been having to listen to the games.
At the very least, we should see the playoff games on local channels.
Yeah, what the fuck? Anyways, I'm pissed about that because I'm either watching the stat tracker on ESPN, on my mobile device, or I'm listening to the games. It's the only way I could pay attention to them. So it is what it is. I think that maybe changes once we get to the next round. I think all those games are maybe on regular TV. I could be wrong.
I would think so, given there's only a handful of series. They should be able to air them all, at least on the ESPNs of the world and stuff like that.
The one thing about baseball that I always feel, because, once you get into the playoffs, really, it's about shortening your rotation and having your crucial starters and your crucial relievers getting hot. And anytime a team, like the Brewers or whoever, that is hot, has 2 games that they win, and you drop that third game, my initial thought goes to, all right, well, we wasted a start. We wasted a start, our third pitcher, etc. Are we going to have to pitch our main starter again later in the series and wear him out? That kind of stuff. Every time the Brewers are in the playoffs, that's the stuff I kind of think about. You just kind of want them to just close out these series and keep rolling, right?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. Rick and I were talking about that exact same thing watching the game, where we were like, man, it sucks trying to, bring in your studs, for that game 4 or game 5 if it comes down to it, because, then you're only a day or 2 removed from the next series and those guys need to rest. And then you're, potentially putting yourself at a disadvantage against whoever it is on the next, wave, whether it's the Phillies or the Dodgers or whoever it may be.
I feel like in baseball, you're spending so much more time looking forward to that next set of games than you would, in football or basketball, etc. I mean, in basketball, you're going to have the same 5 guys every game. In baseball, you're trying to line up when you can play your top starters, and you're trying to not get them out of sequence,
Right. Do we want to do a projector game tomorrow night for the game? It might be nice outside.
I'd be down for that.
Maybe we need Kyle to come up and watch a Brewer game.
I wish I could.
Yeah.
Evan.
Kyle counteracts the curse. When me, you, and Kyle all watch a game together, that goes very well. So I feel like maybe that's the catalyst we need to make this happen. No pressure, Kyle.
Hey,
I just need you to drive an hour. It's important because then the Brewers will win. If they lose tomorrow, it's kind of on you if you didn't come out here.
Yeah. I think the Bucks are on too. The Bucks preseason game. You can bring your Kuzma jersey out, Kyle, and
there we go.
My Kuzma jersey. I don't think there is a single Kuzma jersey in the history of the world.
I don't think they even printed them. I'm pretty sure they never made them.
I don't think they allowed. I don't think they allowed for custom jerseys either. They're like, no, not him. You wouldn't do that.
This is actually not allowed. You have to spell it wrong to get it. Put it on jersey.
I will say if we get to the World Series and there's a crucial deciding game, I will come out. And even if it's going to be 32 degrees out by the time we get there, Rick, we'll just do it outside anyways, right?
There you go.
We kind of have to just to keep the good karma,
keep the trend
alive.
going. Yeah. Thursday I definitely will not be there because Evan's flag football team is in the semifinals of the flag football league tournament. They had an all-time game on Tuesday night. They won 52-0 in their first round playoff matchup. Second play of the game. The other team's quarterback, they were playing the Bills. The Bills quarterback went deep on Evan's guy. Evan came up with a pick at about midfield and zigzagged his way through for a pick 6. This kid's athletic. That's all I'm going to say.
That's amazing.
It's pretty exciting. He's a second grader playing in a 2nd through 4th grade league. He's been making a huge impact. Typically they're the second graders. They send them off over to the side and they're like, you guys just pick your noses and play with dandelions. But he's making moves. It's pretty exciting watching him play.
I would have paid $22 for him instead of Bryce Young.
And then on the other side of it, Vince's team played against their arch nemesis, Two Rivers, this last weekend, and also pummeled them 22-0. They made 2-point afters. It was pretty exciting. And Vince ended up with, I think, 3 sacks and 3 tackles for a loss. He's kind of becoming a monster in there. So football's getting fun for me, man.
I mean, compared to his peers, Vince has always kind of been a monster.
I mean, I'll give him that.
I mean, hey, on Friday I have my own flag football game to play, so I can't get too out of control Thursday either.
Oh shit, you're still doing that?
It's that time of the year.
You got to be
Lambeau Field.
Are you the old guy on the team now?
I am the old guy on the team. Yep, Lambeau Field, Combined Armed Forces Flag Football Tournament. We're 3 years in a row champions, and savvy vets like me come in handy once in a while. We're good at drawing up successful game plans and pointing fingers and not necessarily doing too much athletically, and hopefully we come.
Kathy Ireland kicking field goals for your team?
Absolutely, she still looks great.
Does anybody get that? Unnecessary roughness? You guys are too young.
But yeah, so and guys, a couple weeks back, the 3 of us, we went out to Cinders with Benny for lunch in the afternoon, and man, we really put a dent in the Coke supply, the Coca-Cola supply at Cinders. We waited a good long time to order our food.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you got to wait a little longer for greatness. It's a nice place to eat, but yeah, definitely a little delay in time.
I had the
food was good though.
Yeah, I had the peanut butter. It was a peanut butter cheeseburger with it was like an Asian I can't even think of what it like a chili sauce or whatever on it. It was fucking phenomenal. It was awesome.
Sure.
I would definitely do that again. I feel like Cinders needs to get back on our radar one of these months. So let's do that again.
Absolutely. Kyle, amazing opportunity here for a quarterback with the second worst EPA per dropback. Joe Flacco could be the only quarterback in Packers history to beat the Packers twice while not being in the same division as the Packers.
Well, hold on. Could he beat the Packers twice in 3 weeks? Is this possible, yeah. Rob?
The Browns traded him to the Bengals. We play the Bengals this week.
He was named the starter today.
He was. So
he got off a 17-minute plane flight from Cleveland to Cincinnati. He flew commercial. He flew business class. There's pictures. And he showed up at Bengals practice, and they were so excited that he wasn't Jake Browning that he got awarded the starting position. What a world.
Well, Jake Browning is the worst quarterback in EPA per dropback, and Joe Flacco being the second worst in EPA per dropback is actually an improvement. So they were all about it. And that was actually the first trade between the Browns and the Bengals in forever because of the ownership deal. I don't know if you know the whole backstory to that, Kyle. It was on the podcast that we both listened to. Very cool story.
So my question is, where the fuck were the Bengals and the Giants in this? And why the hell were the Bengals? The reports say the Bengals never talked to the Giants, but why is Jameis Winston not the quarterback on this team?
Or Russell Wilson or a number of other quarterbacks that were out there. Now, I have a theory, and this maybe this is wrong, and maybe it's a fact that maybe the Browns are playing chess, over chess.
No.
Hold on.
No.
Hear me out.
No.
Hear me out.
Okay? I can't hear you.
The Bengals are clearly looking for a quarterback, right? The Browns don't want the Bengals to win games. And they say, hey, we got Joe Flacco. Just move us up a couple of picks in the 8th round. We'll send you Joe Flacco. The Bengals stay shitty. The Browns ensure that, and that keeps the Bengals from going out and finding who knows what other teams they were plugging this we need a quarterback thing out to. Maybe they were just trying to keep the Bengals down, by giving them a shitty quarterback that's just a little bit better than the one they had. I'm just saying they might be playing chess here because there's a hatred between the Browns and the Bengals.
I mean, the rumors were that they were calling the Packers.
Everybody tries calling the Packers. He's not leaving.
Yeah,
Malik Willis is locked the fuck in.
And I am all for that. But yeah,
God, how great was Malik Willis last year? And that time he had to fill in, that was amazing. I'm pro Malik Willis. I'm so happy he wanted to stay with us.
That couple of weeks is when I officially dialed in that Matt LaFleur is a good coach, because the way he was able to take him, run a completely different playbook and philosophy, cater it to Malik Willis's skill set. And, after he flamed out in Tennessee and was just like, nope, you're our guy. We're behind you. We're going to dial up a playbook that, works with your skill set, and we're going to win these games. And they went out and did it. That's a true mark of a good coach. He's no Bill Belichick, but I mean, Carolina's not good either.
I mean, I would have liked it if LaFleur could have dialed up a better playbook for our normal offense against Dallas, but all the same, yes, he's a good coach.
Let's him print out a new playbook for Love as our starting quarterback, because that playbook against Dallas.
Those bubble screens were getting a little tiring.
I don't know what was going on there. I mean, it honestly felt like they were playing for the tie. Like, it's confusing.
Honestly, the whole game, dude. Like, the Dallas, they have terrible deep defensive players. So what do? We keep it all short and keep their linebackers in the game. What were we thinking? Not running deeper slants and curl back routes and all this stuff that usually crushes Dallas. Don't get me started on the defense, but man, that was a tough game. That was hard as fuck to watch, man.
Yeah, it was not fun. Being up on was it a Sunday night game or a Monday night game? I don't remember.
Sunday night.
It was Sunday night, yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't great, being up at midnight on a Sunday night going, well, I just watched 4.5 hours for nothing. But, those are the breaks in the NFL, right?
I wish the NFL had a stronger commissioner like the NBA used to have with Stearns, when he would just say, nope, Giants, J-Mo is going to Cincinnati, and you're just going to have to add another digit on your scoreboard to figure this out, because he's going to be throwing 10 picks and 10 touchdowns a game.
Yeah. Blocking trades like the Chris Paul trade.
Well, yeah. But, anyways, we went longer than I expected. Rick, I thank you for joining us, staying up real late with us. And,
the wife literally woke me up.
We'll hear more from you next year. And you know what? Rick may make a reappearance later on in the season, when we need a jury for something, because Rick is typically on our jury for whenever we got to figure out, some hard justice.
Yeah, when we get some interrelationship trades later on that you can't make, but, could still potentially exist.
Well, all right. Thanks for hanging with us. It's the Gentleman Fantasy Podcast. I'm Kyle. That's Rob.
Hey, go Pat.
And Rick. We'll see you guys next week.
Ryan's puking, so just give me a minute. I went that whole podcast without drinking.
Oh, really? The whole podcast without drinking?
Also, I need more whiskey. I did a lot of it during the Brewer game.